Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Area 51 Sunday SuperTruck Series here on Green White Checkered TV at Talladega Superspeedway, 2.65 miles in length, and there will be 75 laps on the schedule here tonight on Sunday night. It is the first week of the playoffs, and we are gearing up for this four-race sprint that will decide our next champion here in the Truck Series on Sunday night. For myself, Boomer Logan, alongside of me, we've got Guile Brooks in the booth here tonight, and we are very excited to bring you this action. Guile, how are you doing tonight, and what are you looking forward to?
I am doing well. Say glad you're able to make it here with me. I say kind of hold down the fort just in case, because I say unfortunately some of the viewers may remember a certain race that I was running, and then I wasn't running anymore because I ran out of power. So had some storms in the area. It's like, hey buddy, you around? So yeah, I appreciate you hopping on and helping me out. And I was like, looking forward to doing this one. And yeah, I mean, it's I say obviously Sunday. We're a little off schedule to Thursday with all the delays over there, but yeah, it's playoff time already. We've got 12 drivers going for that championship, and like I said, it's who can do the best over the course of those four races. So now it's time to kind of limit those mistakes and see what they can do. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to this for sure. We've got that four race sprint here to the end of the season where we will crown a champion. We've got everybody in the top 12 in points moving on and split between, or all will have 1,000 points, so no need for a graphic tonight, but Ryan Decker, Eric Laurie, Bud Steele, Patrick Groover, Rick Sanchez, Brandon Briggs, Jim Brooks, Corey Buskirk, Vicente Guerrero, William Bogart, Dude Conrad, and Seth Groover in no particular order are those 12 that will be competing for the championship here. And it looks like we have just completed our qualifying session here, so we'll bring up that starting grid for you, and we will see who is on pole, assuming the grid graphic will pop up for us. Maybe not.
So I think we still got a little bit of time. Actually, it looks like still
That's
in qualifying. Yeah, I still
my
see a few trucks putting
apologies.
down their laps down. And the other thing I was going to mention, we've talked about before, Boomer, those. So there are no bonus points or anything like that. So the whole thing about who got the pole, led a lap, incident free, all that stuff. It's just basically it's you finish where you finish, and that's where those points are going to lay. So what I'm trying to dig around right now is trying to find the info that will tell us about the how the tiebreakers go, because I think that's going to come into play. Which I want to say, of course, the first one's going to be who had the best finish. So let's say if someone ends a tie in points, if someone's best finish in these four races was a second, someone else was a third, the second place driver would have be the one that winds up getting that tiebreaker.
Yes, thank you. My time was just a little bit off. Obviously, took the week off. Obviously, you had some
So you're still
rigorous,
vacation mode over
yeah,
there.
rigorous work week for you, and a vacation for me and the missus. So definitely getting back into the swing of things here. But we've got trucks that are now taking to the grid, which means that our starting grid is just about ready to go, and we will pull that up now, and it'll actually display for us. So we've got on the pole, it's going to be Giovanni Acapinti in the 000 Chevrolet. He is going to start inside of row number one. Dude Conrad in the 8 is going to be just to his outside. Kevin Freese and Vicente Guerrero, they're going to share row number 2 with Kevin on the inside, Vicente in that number 14 to the outside. Jack Walls will be in the top 5 of your starting grid tonight in the number 83. Seth Groover is going to be to his outside in the number 32. Rick Sanchez in the number 5 truck. He is going to be in the inside of row number 4 with Peter DeBorgia to his outside in that number 40 machine. Patrick Groover there is going to find himself inside of row number 5. Tom Dixon will be the last car in the top 10 for tonight's starting grid. We've got Ryan Decker in the Sensi number 48. He'll be starting to the inside of Bud Steele for Roswell Motorsports in the number 6 Ford F-150. And our next page of the grid here, Mike Remkis in the number 79. He's going to be on the inside of row number 7 with Eric Laurie for Team Bugnaka to his outside. Jimmy Reynolds in the number 15 starting position. Kawabe Brooks as far as I know, the favorite Brooks son there in the number 53 outside of row number 8. And we've got Jason Bogart, another one of those uh, names. Or sorry, it's William Bogart actually going for the championship, but so he's on the inside of row number 9 there with Corey Buskirk of Blind Squirrel Racing to his outside. Everett Lane and Jacob Lee are going to make up row number 10 for the top 20 starting positions. And then we've got Nick Wing and Frank Ranger Jr., the last two drivers to take a qualifying time. At the back of the grid, we'll have Jim Brooks and Kevin E. Lee, as well as Ambrose Kniebo, Farid Ayuso, Andrew Schroeder, and Iker Peguero. And that will round out the 28 truck field for us tonight. Gael, as we roll off here, what are some of your final thoughts as we take to the first pace lap here?
Well, I think just right there what you said. What a field! 28 trucks here tonight for the kickoff of the season of the playoffs. So really, really big thank you to all the drivers that made it out tonight. And saying and again, there's going to be a lot of different kind of game plans and strategies and just kind of what they want to accomplish in this race. I mean, I've seen a lot of drivers roll out kind of to help some teammates. I was talking to some guys and say it's always good to have Peter DeBorgia there, and he's giving Gabe Butler some love there in his number 40 Guinness truck. But as I talked to Peter, he said, "Yeah, my goal is I'm gonna try to help Eric the best I can." So say they have a good crew over there too. I'm looking at you got Peter DeBorgia's in there, Kevin Freeze, Dude Conrad, Eric Laurie. But they've also now got in there with them as well. Everett Lane's in there as well as Jimmy Reynolds. So that's a stout 6-truck pack. So definitely one to take a look at. Obviously, a very popular win last week with Ryan Decker getting the win. Jacob Lee, he's over with those guys now as well in the Roswell group in Discord, as is Jason Bogart in the 10. So some of the teams getting a little bigger for the playoffs. So we'll see how team strategy, maybe some pit strategies potentially. I can tell you fuel was adjusted a little bit due to kind of that caution-free race. A little bit more fuel in the trucks to make sure that it's not right on the edge right off the get-go. So we'll see how this playoff goes here in just a moment.
We'll be underway as we get our way through the long tri-oval and into the Geico restart zone. So Giovanni Occhipinti is going to get up through the gearbox for the first time, lead us to the green flag here. Lined up 2 by 2, 14 rows deep, a solid field as we've mentioned already tonight. Look forward to see what these guys do here on track. I know, as Gael mentioned, there's going to be a lot of drivers trying to help their teammates in the championship efforts. As you see,
and Giovanni's already like, I'm going to go back now.
Yeah. No point for the pole and no point for the lap led. So a little bit of a bummer to see him grab the pole and then go all the way back, but that's what he's going to elect to do. He's going to try and come back up to the field if he doesn't lose the draft first.
That was what I was thinking too. He's got to make sure he tags on here to Andrew Schroeder. I was also watching, unfortunately, that 04 Ambrose Kniebo. That connection issue has been a little rough for him, so hopefully that'll stabilize as well. But he's definitely doing what he can to get locked onto that 04 to get them back up there. But yeah, maybe dropped off a little too much early. But like I said, it's early on in this race, so we'll keep an eye and see. And also, big thank you as well to Peter DeBorgia. You see in the timing and scoring those trucks highlighted in green, those are the playoff trucks. So he was able to work some magic for me and kind of show me, hey, do this, and you'll be able to spot the playoff drivers way easier. So that way you guys on YouTube can get a better view of where your favorite drivers are and where your playoff drivers are as well. So, but unfortunately, Boomer, I think that drop back by the 000 a little too far back. So he's already 1.6 and dropping.
Yeah, they've got he's hooked up with the 04, but unfortunately, the two of them just aren't strong enough. We've always seen at least 3 cars, or trucks in this case, are needed to really give enough of a push to be able to be the same speed as a full-size pack. And definitely obviously takes a lot more to be even stronger, but you need at least 3 cars, and obviously Ambrose has got a little bit of a disconnect to the back bumper of the 000, so he's not really pushing hard at all, and unfortunately that is going to leave them about now 3 seconds off of the back of the field, and that gap growing. But we are still 2 by 2 up here at the front of the field. The 14 of Vicente Guerrero has found his way to the lead of the inside lane as Seth Groover tries to lead them around the outside and get a lap led here through the tri-oval and then into the short chute. Obviously, you always have to mention the different start-finish line location here at Talladega. Does make a difference. I know we probably bring it up every time we come here, but definitely a little bit of a different timing as far as when you're going to start your run to make it to the checkered flag on the last lap. Is we're going to go 3 wide here with the 32 getting shuffled out to the high side, and the 40 is going to follow the 14 on through, and looks like Patrick is going to come up to give his brother a good push, and they're going to get that third line going.
Yeah, so I didn't feel like it'd be too long before Seth would get some help with his brother there. So I'd say, but again, though, it's still very early, so I don't think they're probably too worried about anything here yet. And yeah, so based on the fuel mileage, we mentioned obviously with Daytona, a couple guys were able to go with the 3 stop. A lot of other guys had to go to the 4th stop and just kind of a quick splash of fuel. So what should happen from tonight is I think they said it was about 10% fuel added. So should be a safe 3 stop if we go green start to finish for everybody. Of course, if cautions fall, you never know at that point. But so what I say on that one is probably be in about the low 20s. I would say should be about the fuel number for what they can go on fuel. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that for sure. But yeah, so no, like I said, we'll just and I was saying I'm listening to some of the drivers, and I say already the water oil temperature is already an issue. Kevin Freeze was pushing dude Conrad. He said, I'm getting so hot right now in that truck. I got to try to kind of, you saw him make some space there because he was just getting really, really hot in that 25 truck. So already these guys having to manage.
Yeah, definitely going to have to pay attention to that, and it's going to make a big difference to know when you get to the point where you're going to have to give that truck a little bit of fresh air and breathe it. But you want to be able to push as hard as you can, but you can only do it for maybe a lap or so, and it's really good to know exactly how long you can do that for, just so you can try to time those runs, especially as it comes down to the later stages of this race. But we're not even 10% of the way through this one as we work on lap number 6 here of the scheduled distance of 75, as the 8 and the 25 get a good shove into turn 3, and out of 4 they come, 3 wide here, at least 3 rows deep. And the rest of the field, a couple rows too wide, and most of it's strung out single file behind them, but a pretty solid pack here as we drive around the high banks here of Talladega Superspeedway.
Yeah, so I'm peeking over every so often at the YouTube chat. Got a Jason Bogart fan in the house rooting on that one of our championship contenders there. He is right now in the 17th position. And I also got a Farid Ayuso fan just popped in as well. Diego rooting him on. I say looking for Farid in the group. I say he and Iker, they're playing the long game right now. Boomer, I was just looking to see where they are. They're right now the last 2 trucks in this main pack, but again, this is strategy right now. They're saying, all right, let's wait and see. And I'm saying again, I've been able to chat a little bit here and there with Iker as well, right in front of him in the 07. He's learned a lot of his first couple races, realizing kind of, okay, with the super speeder races, a lot of these guys do either fuel only or maybe 2 tires, if that. And so, yeah, so he's been able to make some adjustments to kind of help his pit road situation, especially under green. So it's really cool to see the guys that are kind of new to the super speedway style racing to make those adjustments and kind of, okay, this worked, this didn't work. So, yeah, so definitely always, as always, appreciate everybody that pops on and roots on your favorite driver. And saying there's no shame in us to say, let us know who you're rooting for. We'll definitely give them some extra screen time. At least that's me. I don't know about you, Boomer, but I have no shame.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate it. It's fun to have a little bit of, participation in the chat. It's always fun when we get to interact with some of the fans that are watching and rooting their drivers on. So, by all means, please chime in and have to do maybe some onboard cameras of your favorite driver and get some updates here as we come through the field. But yeah, we've got a decent amount of the playoff drivers here in the top 10. There's only 4 here that in this pack now. Yeah, 3 to 4 wide lanes deep of 3 wide is the 25 of Kevin Freese is going to get out of there.
But yeah, he was hot. I was listening on the radios and he said, "Hey, I'm going to roll out of it at a 2. I'm getting hot," and so he decided to back it down there.
Yeah, and you see these guys getting a little squirrely, but for the most part, 3 wide pretty comfortable here. It's about 15 feet wider than Daytona is, so it makes sense that 3 wide is comfortable, 4 wide is a squeeze, where obviously Daytona 2 is comfortable, 3 is a squeeze, but the extra space in this track makes a huge difference for being able to move around, and you can definitely see these cars moving quite a bit laterally as now they settle out 2 by 2, about 10 rows deep. The 14 of Vicente is still going to continue to control this race with the help of Seth Groover behind him, as he's actually going to jump to the outside with Peter de Borgia and try to move forward there and get himself up into the lead, as we are working on lap number 10 at the moment. Everybody through 26th is in this main pack. Obviously, we mentioned Iker Peguero, now Frank Ranger Jr. Are the last two in this pack, and they are pretty much everyone not really separated by much time at all, but we saw Giovanni Occhipinti duck out of the lead and unfortunately not able to keep up with that lead draft. Ambrose Kniebel with some connection issues. The two of them have found each other and are still losing time to the pack there. You can see about 25 seconds on the scoring pylon behind our leader at the moment. So other than that, everybody pretty well organized in this main group now, 2 by 2, quite a ways deep, couple single file stragglers there on back, but not a lot of separation between cars from 1st to 26th.
Yeah, I said the whole pack's pretty much together. And did notice that the 09 car, though, Frida Yusa, he decided to hop to the top here. And again, he was sitting around that 25th, 26th position and just changing lanes, going top. He's already up to the top 17 now. So that's the thing, is there's room to go around if you need to. But right now, to me, though, Boomer, story of the race seems to be just the oil water temperatures in these trucks. I've heard a lot of guys talking about it. We saw that's why Kevin Freese rolled out of it. They're getting hot. I mean, again, these guys are also probably pushing and trying to keep that track position, but it seems like the trucks are just getting maybe a little hotter than what they'd be expecting. As to say, again, just listening a little bit more to some of these drivers.
Yeah, that's definitely something you want to manage. I mean, it would be very unfortunate to take yourself out of the race early because you pushed too hard and blew your motor. Obviously, we do have the fast repair here in all of the Area 51 leagues, but that is not something that you want to use early on. And sometimes we know we've actually seen with this latest update, there's been issues where some people they'll go to, or they may blow a motor and they'll go to check their fast repair, but if they take a tow, it doesn't use it immediately, and then you're stuck there for 30 minutes trying to repair a blown motor. But yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on for sure, as we see Seth Groover potentially some connection issues.
Yeah, no, the drivers were chatting about the connection issues, and he jumped as soon as they mentioned it. He jumped to the third lane,
Yep,
and to say hopefully he can tag onto the draft, because, and that's the thing too, is with the way the connection works. Sometimes you see them, they don't see you. There's other times where you don't see anybody either, and then it's almost you're driving as if you don't have any draft. So my concern for Seth here is once he hopefully gets back in the server, or not server, but back kind of on track, if you will. If he's not showing any like cars around him, he's going to basically be running without a draft, and that's going to cost him the draft as well.
Yeah, the other thing that's scary about that blinking, as they call it, when the car disappears and reappears, is also just the proximity. Because if you disappear and then reappear within the same window of another car, it'll treat it like an accident, and basically will. I mean, it does a lot of really crazy stuff, but will throw cars into the air and do all sorts of crazy stuff. But it looks like right now I'm not showing Seth at all.
No, and I think I see Patrick jumping up. I think I do see him every so often. He'll pop in, then he'll disappear, then he'll pop in, and now he's back. As I'm looking to try to see the gap.
Yep, we got him on camera at least, so it means that we can see him in the session, but.
And so look at Patrick, though, just ahead of him. Patrick's rolled back. He's kind of dropped anchor pretty heavy to make sure he wants to kind of try to be that ladder to pull Seth back into that draft. So, again, these are both playoff drivers. And say Patrick, again, still early in the race, too. So he's like, you know what? We can still come back from this. So he's rolling back, pick up his brother. So
I mean, one thing I want to mention about this, sorry to
no, you're good.
But one thing I want to mention about this, they do this all the time, whether it's
Yes.
playoffs or whether it's just a normal race. If there's someone that not even someone that they are running with, they'll do this to help people gain. I mean, a lot of people in the league do this, but I know the Groover brothers do this a lot too. But they'll make sure that everybody in the pack has the ability to try and catch up. If they have a connection issue or something goes wrong. But I've seen it time and time again where they try to, obviously they're helping each other with the battles that they have in the playoffs, but a lot of sportsmanship from these two guys, and quite a bit of competitors here in the league. But it's really cool to see his brother go back there and try to help him out, because obviously, like you mentioned, it is playoff time, and that does make a huge difference. But definitely some sportsmanship in these two brothers that we love seeing race together.
Yeah, so that's one of those ones where mom hates the situation that they're in with the internet connection issue, but I'm sure she's got a smile though watching them work together to get back to the front. So
Yeah, and they're
yeah,
well
really
caught
really
up.
cool to see, and yeah, they've definitely caught back to the pack, so they're good to go there. We've also got one of our sponsors chiming in the chat, Caitlin popping in, rooting on Ryan, say our most recent winner, a very popular one, I'm sure, in that household as well. So yeah, definitely appreciate them. And yeah, say right now he's holding again. I think he's kind of just in that little group that's playing it kind of calm and easy. And so he's got a lot of those teammates right around him there. He's got Jason Bogart's not too far. Kobe Brooks 53, Jim Brooks, Jacob Lee, Jim Brooks, like they're all together here. But I think Field's about to catch the 000 and 04 here.
Yeah, you can see through the front windshield of the 48 you are riding on board with right now.
Looks like Giovanni's going to pit here, actually.
Yeah, Giovanni in the pits, and they're still going to be catching Ambrose Knievel to the high side here, as we see him should be able to hold on to this lead pack now.
Yeah, what he needs to do here is as soon as he can get to that second line when there's no more cars going up trucks up top, he needs to try to tuck in behind. Like right here, he can probably tuck in behind the 53. That way he can get that draft and kind of build that momentum back up. But
Yeah.
right now, I think he's trying to make sure that he gets everybody clear, just no risk, no dramas. But yeah, I think he should be okay. And it looks like the 000 just rolling out of pit road now.
Yes, that's a little bit of an early pit stop for Giovanni, but shouldn't be too bad. The only thing that's really going to hurt him is just the fact that he has nobody else to draft with. You saw how much he was sinking with the help of Ambrose Knievel. He's going to have no help whatsoever, but one thing we do see climbing through the field back now is the 54 and the 32. They are well back into this race, as we are starting to consider that first pit stop of the night for the rest of the field. Obviously, Giovanni, the first one to head to pit road there. He is going to be, looks like 2 tires, I'm assuming, based on the time, 2 tires and fuel. But he's pretty close to actually being caught by the pack again, and I think that'll actually put him 2 laps down. So Ambrose Knievel, we'll keep an eye on him. He will be for the moment at least, will be your lucky dog control car if a caution were to come out. But
yeah, and these guys are starting to squeeze to the bottom, Boomer. I've been watching, and I just saw Seth made a just squeeze job right in front of Andrew Schroeder, and now made a little gap, got his brother in there as well. So
you gotta be
everybody's piling.
Careful with that too, because if you stack up that inside line to do that, that's going to slow down a lot of people behind you, and sometimes that can cause some issues of itself. But we did see the 071 there. He was able to get down as he takes over command of this lead of this race, and the 24 Everett Lane is going to try and do the same thing. He has got Kevin E. Lee on his rear bumper right now, and they're trying to move to the front to get down and get ready for those first pit stops.
And I can tell you it's going to be happening this time. I've heard a lot of drivers call up saying, hey, we're coming in this time. So we'll see how many jump in here, because it's going to probably be a pretty good pack.
We got about half the pack almost, led by Peter DeBorgia as he gets in first. And it looks like everyone's going to get away okay.
Yeah, so now everybody's got to their stalls.
Yep. You see the distinction there between the
little bit of contact.
Yep, between the 5 and the 79. So I was going to make the distinction. Once you're inside that white line and on to the concrete, your car will disappear, and you can be a ghost car, as it were, to be able to drive through other cars. But on the asphalt to the left, so the darker pavement that you see, you can make contact with other cars. We're going to get close on the exit. there is Eric Laurie's going to come out ahead of everybody else, followed by
Oh, and
Vicente
saying
and
11's out
Peter.
of fuel coming out of 4 there, so he had to drop to the apron there, but here comes the second pack.
Yep, second pack coming in. Jimmy Reynolds is part of this one, and Everett Lane is going to lead the charge. Jack Walls, Kevin Freese, and it looks pretty clean for the
Yeah, it looks like
second
there's a
group. Just
looks
have
like
to
there's a
make sure.
close moment. Sorry for Kevin Freeze and company, but I think he got through okay. But yeah, no. So 2 laps the whole field here.
Yeah, that's crazy. Everybody coming in on pretty similar strategies. Oh, we've got a yellow flag out on the speedway.
Oh, it was the Gruber brothers, I
Uh,
think.
it looks like we've got an incident with the 32 and the 54, and we're going to try and rewind and see if we can figure out what happened here. That's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I think everybody who pit the first time is now going to leapfrog everybody on that second set of pit stops here. But let's see if we can take it back to what happened and break it down. As you see, coming off of pit road here, oh, the 09 and the 54 and the 32 all colliding here. We're going to rewind this one back a little bit and see what makes sense here.
Yeah, this one's a bit of an odd one.
So you see these guys coming off of pit road. Okay, yeah, they're all coming. Oh, interesting. All right, so we're going to rewind it here and just take it all the way back. But so you see here, so we've got Patrick Groover here. So the 09 is leading the charge here, and you see the 54 is trying to carry a little bit more speed than the 09 is. And you see, I don't know if they actually make any contact here, but the 54, oh yeah, definitely make some contact with the 09, and that pushes the 54 up, so that's going to be a pit road violation for the 54 and a penalty there as he goes above the line before the blue cone. And then we come down the back stretch here.
Yeah, and then as they were coming out of the backstretch, yeah, then it was weird. I don't know if that's maybe a frustration situation or something like that, but it's just it was definitely unorganized is unfortunately the best way to put it.
Yeah.
As everybody's trying to get themselves sorted, trying to avoid pit penalties. I'm watching right now live, but yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, you see the disorganization there, and unfortunately the 54 coming up just in front of his brother as they make contact. Thankfully, not too high a speed, so hopefully not too much damage for them. But we'll jump back live now because we've got a lot of pit stops going on, and we'll come back to these two guys. You see your lucky dog there, Aaron Knievel. He is going to get that lucky dog position as he goes around the pace car, and Everett Lane and Vicente Guerrero are going to choose to stay out under this caution. Everybody else electing to get at least tires and fuel. Looks like a couple rolled down pit road there to grab, basically to allow themselves to come down and pit a second time. Because as far as I understand, if you pit the second time but not the first time, that may give you a penalty. So a couple cars also just rolling through pit road just to be able to roll down the second time without penalty. But Everett Lane and Vicente Guerrero are staying out, did not pit at all. Ryan Decker is going to be the first of those who pit to come out of pit road there. He's got 4 tires and fuel, as does Jack Walls just behind him. So everybody just came down pit road a few laps ago under green flag conditions. And we saw, as I mentioned, everybody who pit on the first cycle ended up leapfrogging everybody who pit the second time, just the way that the caution flew and where the timing and scoring ended up. But everybody here on the lead lap, and it looks like Seth Groover and Patrick Groover are taking a tow back to the pits.
I think they're doing some lengthy damage repairs. I think just trying to get as much as they could fix before we get this one to go here in a second.
Yep, no, I see
Also got a
them both
bunch of
leading,
guys
yeah.
topping off right now as well, with Ryan leading that crew. Also, as I say, also just peeking over the chat, saw Belva pop in here as well. So rooting for that 5 of Rick Sanchez. So
Yeah, appreciate her chiming in and saying hi to us. The 5 right now, one of those trucks coming in. to get some extra fuel on that second pit cycle. Yes, there we go. We can find him now. Looks like in the Chevy Land Chevrolet. Yeah, so Seth and Patrick both came down pit road. We see Mama Groover chiming in now. They were both involved there in that caution, and it looks like they both took some extensive repairs, should be able to get a decent amount of their damage fixed. I wouldn't be surprised if they actually got all of it fixed here, because it didn't look like it was too terrible of an impact for both of them, both together and then to the outside wall. But we'll have to wait and see how. Yeah, have to wait and see. I think they're pretty close to being okay, but you won't know until they get back up to pit road speeds. Obviously, they did not take their fast repairs. They saved those. But, I mean, for the most part, looking at both of these Toyotas, they look pretty good. Just a little bit of wrinkles on the quarter panels. Both the front ends look really good, which makes a huge difference. If you got a little bit of front end damage, that's going to do a lot more, a lot more to hurt the car than than damage on the side or the rear of the car. So, but yeah, I think that they were able to avoid using those fast repairs, and we are going to get back to it as the lights are off on the pace car. Everett Lane again and Vicente Guerrero staying out on that pit cycle, and we will be going back to green flag action momentarily.
So everybody's trying to get themselves resituated here. It's been a very busy, eventful caution repairs. I've been listening to the drivers and Adam's trying to get everybody squared away, get on the same page. But back underway here, though, Boomer, going to start lap number 25 on this one. And yeah, so say a third of the way through this one, I see Patrick, he's coming in pit road. I say that's to serve that penalty for the unsafe pit exit that you just mentioned. But oh man, right now, everybody's trying to get themselves sorted. With some of those drivers kind of pitting with the late pit stops and all that, and yeah, so that 04 unfortunately still got some connection hiccups. It looks like.
Yeah, unfortunate for him for sure, but yeah, that's the one tough thing about the not a commitment cone, but that pit exit cone. You have to be below that yellow line until you reach there's a white line on the track and a blue cone. You cannot merge up onto the racing surface before that line as you exit the pit lane. And unfortunately, that's a penalty that does not get cleared. So you will have to serve your pass-through penalty or your stop and hold, actually I think it is, as
yeah, he's gonna let these guys go on by there because he's aware of the connection. So he's like, all right, let me jump top.
Yeah,
I'm saying as long as he just gets to the back of the draft, he's gonna be okay. I can also tell you the 09 also had to come in this time to serve a penalty as well. I think his was actually a kind of a pitting from the second lane situation, which is, I'll say, kind of just general rule of thumb for super speed racing if you're going to be pitting. I say this is more of a league rule versus iRacing, but they ask you to basically pit from the bottom lane. And so if you're trapped up top, I mean, it's unfortunate, but yeah, you just got to be careful about how and where you get in there.
Yeah, it's I mean, obviously not necessarily a rule everywhere, but as far as respect goes in racing, that's definitely something that should be pretty common. I appreciate to see that it is enforced pretty well here. But back to green flag action, we are just past the 1/3 mark of this one here. It looks like Patrick Groover is going to be about 26 seconds off the pace by himself here. Again, serving that pit road violation there. Giovanni Occhipinti is still, I believe, actually shows him 1 lap down. So he might have actually been able to take the waiver round, I believe, on that caution. So we'll get from 2 laps down to 1 lap down. And then Farida Yuso in the 09, he has pitted here again. So he may have had another penalty for himself. Could have been the same penalty as the 54, but we just didn't notice it at the time. But could have been a pit road exit cone violation there. So Farid is also going to be slow and off the pace. And You can see the lead pack is going to be catching them fairly quickly as he gets up to speed. But Jimmy Reynolds is going to bring, what is that, the 84 of Andrew Schroeder there along with him to the bottom lane. Two trucks get clear ahead of Vicente Guerrero and are going to promote themselves to the lead as we work on lap number 28 here. Most of this pack now stretched out single file.
Yeah, so yeah, unfortunately, a couple guys, yeah, just obviously not the way they're hoping for at the beginning. So Tom Dixon, I say he just unfortunately looks like just didn't have a good restart. He lost the draft as well. He's not quite half lap down, but he's rolling solo, unfortunately. You mentioned Patrick Gruber serving that penalty. So yeah. As the leader's coming up on traffic, he's going to go up top, let the leaders swing on by. And then, and then the 09 with his penalty, as Lee said, he was letting those guys by. So that's going to drop him, I think, to 2 laps down now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that was close between the 5 and the 26 there. Rick just squeezed in front of Jimmy there. That was really close between those top 2.
Five's going to get down and take control of the lead. The 25 of Kevin Freese and Everett Lane are going to try to continue their march forward to help Corey Buskirk in that outside lane. The 5, the 26 of Jimmy Reynolds, and the 84 there.
And I do want to mention, been doing some digging. It's talking about the bonus point, or not bonus point, sorry, the tiebreakers. So basically the tiebreakers start off with the most total points, of course. Second tiebreaker goes to wins, and then the third tiebreaker goes to top 5s is what I'm seeing. So, well, of course, I'm guessing there's also something in the rule book that I'm totally blanking on that's going to play a role. But when we do see those, you see Patrick, he's about to get put 1 lap down. But again, right on cue, there's his brother. He's going to pick him up here, try to pick up that pace. Because, again, he's now got to make sure he can keep that 54 in front of that 000 in case of a caution, make sure he keeps himself in that lucky dog position.
Yep, so we've lost Tom Dixon from this draft here. Obviously, Patrick Groover is now 1 lap down. There may be some connection issues again for Seth Groover as we see him disappear from the cameras. But the 54 of Patrick Groover there, at least up to speed now in this group here, as I think hard to see is still don't see Seth rejoining yet. Yep.
And I'd say you're talking about Corey Buskirk on the outside line, that 998. I got to give him some props too, because again, I mean, he was our points leader for a handful of races all the way up through race number 6 of the regular season. And then I'd say he had a kind of a bad race or two, but again, still able to make the top 8 or top 12 in the points to make the playoffs. So he has had a very good season so far, very consistent. Like I said, the only times he hasn't had a good result is when it's kind of been out of his doing. So I'm really looking forward to see what Corey can do in these 4 races as well.
Yeah, definitely has had a really good run this season. Some, things obviously outside of his control, but like you said, been doing really well when he is in control. And it looks like Seth Groover has figured out the connection issue. Him and Patrick here are at the back of this pack. So as of right now, Giovanni Occhipinti is going to have the lucky dog position here, just 1 car ahead of Patrick Groover, actually 2 if you count Seth in between the 2 of them, but that's going to be your lucky dog battle here at the back of this pack, working on lap number 32 here. Obviously the 04 and the 32 still continuing to battle with their connection issues, but we will keep you up to speed on everything that's going on as we see again. It'll be Giovanni in the 000 and the 54 Patrick Groover. 1 lap down. Farida Yuso is 1 lap down, or 2 laps down now, as we mentioned, and pretty much everybody I think on the track is in this pack here, all together.
I say right now, Tom Dixon, unfortunately, a lonely man, but
right, my bad.
Everybody together though, yeah, you're right. I mean, other than that though, I mean, we've got the whole pack here together. So 27 of the 28 trucks in this main pack. So, and then I'm very intrigued. To say we saw some guys top off coming to that 1 to go, pitting at 23. Rick has decided just to go full tilt to go ahead and get up to that 3rd spot. So so very interesting to see for those that topped off, but then are just kind of cruise control. I don't think they can pull off a 2 stopper to the end, but I'm curious.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see I mean, it would be tight for sure. Obviously, we've adjusted the fuel load a little bit here to try and promote that 3-stop guarantee, break it up into 4 segments. But you never know. I mean, if you can go as far, I think we've seen, if I'm not mistaken, we were seeing everyone. Yeah, because Everett Lane stayed out. So Everett Lane pit on lap 21. Ambrose Knievel pit on lap 19. And I think everybody was between those two under green flag conditions. So you'll see about every 20 laps or so, everybody having to pit. And obviously, if you broke this up evenly into 4 segments, it would be about 15 laps. So 3 pit stops mandatory from the beginning. But depending on how cautions fall and how late you can pit there, you never know. You could stretch out. Obviously, everybody that came down pit road basically stretched out an extra 2 or 3 or even 4 laps of fuel there. Compared to what they would have been able to, and it doesn't take much. I mean, if you could save, obviously you're talking about 15 laps to break it up into 4. If you can save 5 laps every single stint, you might be able to lose 1 whole pit stop there. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what we can do here. So there's a little bit of contact at the front of the field, but we stay green.
Yeah, 11:26 is a little door there, but yeah, good job hanging on to that one. And so yeah, though, based on that, though, like you're saying, Boomer, from what I'm looking at here is we're on lap 36 now. The last or the 2 that did not pit under that yellow, Everett Lane in the 21, as well as Vicente Guerrero in the 20. So I mean, based on those numbers, I mean, right now Everett for sure is going to be the first that has to pit because he's been up front a bunch here, leading, and of course being one who did not pit the. Pitting up front. So yeah, so I'll be very intrigued on that one. I was saying right now, Tom's checking to see where the leaders are, so he's gonna jump top, let the leaders on by. And Matt, say sorry to hear about the power outage, but hope everything's going okay there. So even though there's no weather, it's always an odd one. So but yeah, hope you're doing well, sir. But yeah, so right now though, yeah, I'm gonna be watching to see the pit stops and again trying to figure out how far these guys have gone and then how far they can go. But we're about to throw that 3rd truck into the mix for that Lucky Dog battle right now, Boomer. And that's going to be Tom Dixon against Patrick Groover and Giovanni Acapinti. So
Yeah.
let's see where Tom can slot in here because maybe he can keep himself in that spot.
Yeah, looked like he made a little bit of contact there on the outside wall, just trying to stay wide for the lead pack to come through. But right now, it's Patrick Groover who has it. Actually, technically, it is Tom Dixon as he slides back.
That's a good move there.
See. Yeah. So Patrick Groover should be able to pick up the 411 here, and we'll be battling with them side by side. Then the white 000, as we see the 32 and the 04 continuing to battle with connection issues at the back of that pack. You see the blinking going on back there, but the 411 is going to have the lucky dog spot at the moment here, as we've got a little bit more 3-wide action up here in the middle.
Yeah, I'd say that top line's really fizzled out here. That 11's just kind of gotten a little bit stuck, if you will. But now, yeah, and I think Kevin noticed that, so he's got. They got the teammates lined up top there, the 25, the 8, the 40, the 07. So we'll see if they can make a charge. But right now, the inside line just honestly just dominating at the moment. So, and again, based on fuel, these guys pitting, we said around that 2021 mark. So based on that, we should expect to see these guys around lap 42, somewhere in that range. So
yeah, sounds about
probably
right.
pretty close for that window to open up here. So
yeah,
because sorry, listening to the drivers and say one of the guys keying up saying like, "Hey, come on, guys, someone pick a lane here." So I guess sounds like everybody's kind of trying to get a little dicey.
Yeah, everyone trying to get what they can for track position, because obviously that'll help before you make that next pit stop. But we have passed the halfway point, so we know that you can make it with I think 2 more pit stops technically.
For sure, 2.
Yeah.
I still think someone's going to try the 1-stopper. I think someone's going to try to make this number happen.
Yeah, you might be able to. The way that this fell, I threw out some math numbers there that were actually incorrect, but 75 divided by 4 is just over 18, so say that's 19 laps. So you have to save quite a bit of fuel, about 5 laps, but over 4 stints to have to avoid that extra pit stop. So we'll see if it's possible or not, but obviously with everyone pitting on lap 22, 23, that gives you a couple laps of freedom. If it were to go green the rest of the way, to have a shorter stint or even eliminate a stint altogether. But some of the guys that are not going to be in that position are probably the ones that have been in the front. You know, the 5 of Rick Sanchez, the 8, the 25, the 24 of Everett Lane. These guys that are dicing up at the front of the pack are probably not considering saving enough fuel to be able to reduce this race by 1 pit stop. But from lap 23 on, obviously
And
that's.
yeah,
Go ahead.
and I say I'm rewriting the numbers, and no, there's no way anybody can one stop this. I see the Ambrose Knievel, he's gonna hit pit road.
Yeah.
I say it's actually I don't think he had pitted after he got the wave rounds, unfortunately. So he's the first to hit pit road, which based on that tells me probably Everett Lane not too far away as well. But yeah, so based on the numbers, like I said, even pitting at 23, to make it to the end, they would have to go 52 laps, or in this case, of course, splitting it to 26 each run. And I don't think there's
that's gonna be
any
tough.
way anybody's going to be able to pull a 26 lap off. So yeah, so it's definitely 2 stops for sure to the end for these guys to make it. However, it's one of those things where those 2 stops aren't going to have to be on the dot. You're going to be able to maybe run one long and maybe do a short fill at the very end. So it'll be interesting to see kind of the strategy of how these guys make these next 2 pit stops if we get them under green.
Yeah, it'll definitely be 2 more, but we've at least passed the halfway point, and I think we're getting more organized. You see how well organized this whole field is here at the front, trying to get ready to come down. A couple guys trying to get all that they can, but you see how much of a difference it can make with some of these drivers. You see the 071 of Eric Laurie and Peter DeBorgia are trying to come up through the field here and maybe grab a little bit of track position. But so from Kevin Freese on back, you see all the way back to like where Iker Peguero is. They're quite a few seconds back
I think
there.
I may have heard the 11 call he's pitting.
Okay.
I'm going to keep an eye on him. I thought I heard him chime up, or maybe he was. We'll see. Nope, he's not pitting. May have just been thanking somebody. Apologies. Yeah, no, you're right though. I'm curious to see because yeah, some of these guys, like you said, it seemed like they drug back early, and now they're going to pick up the hammer and try to pull forward. I say honestly, it's something that I like to do too, where I just back down, save, and then once we get near that pit window, of, like you said, if I can save like 1 extra lap, then I try to make that big charge. And I think that's what you're seeing right now. Look at Jack Walls, look at Ryan Decker, Jacob Lee's in that mix as well. These guys are pushing. Nick Wing's in that group as well. They are moving right now, and they're going to try to get everything they can here before they hit their pit stop window. And then, yeah, also looking at that chat, though, Boomer. Yeah, Matt, I know you've been dealing with some issues with your nerves and leg pains and all that stuff. So I really hope that gets better for you soon, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Here comes pit stops.
Yep, lots of pit stops. Looks like Everett Lane is coming in.
A little bit of contact, 1779.
Didn't quite see it there. Still a little bit of contact between the 1779 and the 8 as well.
I think the 17 was outside the pit cone, so he's going to have a penalty for unsafe pit entry. But yeah, so now though, that big charge though, led by Jack Walls and Ryan Decker, Jacob Lee and company, that was a great move because again, at the time that those leaders pitted, they were right up there with them. So we always talk about that net gain, net loss. They did exactly what they needed to do. They were all the way as far forward as they could be. So
yeah,
I would expect to see these guys. I see some guys chiming in. Andrew Schroeder, Tom Dixon looks like they're going to be coming in. And let's see, leader. Nope, 1 more lap for these guys. So good fuel mileage for these top 4.
Ooh, a little bit of a moment there for the 07, a little bit of lockup. Sorry, trying to grab some different camera angles for different drivers, but a little bit of lockup there for the 07, but looks like he got down to speed okay. Looks like everybody else not having any issues there, but Ryan Decker is going to come back out. And the point that I was trying to stumble through earlier was just that at the time that the first pit stop sequence we just had here, or the first couple cars pit on this most recent sequence, there's about a 2-second gap between first place and the tail end of this lead draft. So like you mentioned, Ryan Decker, Jacob Lee, Nick Wing, they're all making that charge, and they were right up with the leaders that pit on the first time 2 laps to go. So that makes a big difference for these guys as you see the rest of this crew starting to come down pit road here. Jacob Lee, Ryan Decker, Jack Walls, Nick Wing, everybody looks like they're making it in okay. Quabi Brooks is in there too.
Yeah, nice clean stop. That's 8 trucks together there, Boomer. And yeah, that looked, I think these guys are pretty much all in the Roswell group in Discord. So yeah, I think these guys are pretty much running pretty much running full strategy here, working right together on the pit entries. So great job by all of them. And like I said, now it's just all about making sure that they had the right settings. 2 tires, fuel only. What's the right call? Because you're right though, there was a big gap there with Rick and Everett. They had kind of run away with it for a little bit, and then everybody else had to catch back up to them. So yeah, so we'll see how they get out together, because this is one of those tracks you can really hustle that pit exit. Not like Daytona where you got to kind of pedal it. So these guys should be pretty much foot to the floor here on this pit exit.
And you see, we're watching now some of these guys come out of the pit lane. You see the 5 and the 24, they're going to have a head of steam. They're going to catch the tail end of that last pitting pack, which is the 51 there. The 28, they're going to go around a few more, but it looks like the 5 and the 24 are going to be able to come out ahead. So Rick Sanchez will assume the lead. I don't think they're going to have enough cars or enough momentum to break away here, as there's quite a bit of a head of steam with... looks like Kevin E. Lee here. Looks like the 48 and company are going to be able to at least get up to speed and stay alongside with them. So that was some pretty good. I mean, no net gain, no net loss for those guys as they came in for the 48, the 83, and the 28, or the 21, sorry, of Jacob Lee. So good opportunity there. The 5 and the 24 are going to be in control now as most of this pack starts to come back together. The 11 of Kevin E. Lee and Peter DeBorgia are rocking the outside lane. You see the 54 of Patrick Groover there as well. He is 2 laps down right now. Giovanni Occhipinti in this pack and the 32 of Seth Groover are continuing to work on that lucky dog battle. And Frank Ranger Jr., who is also in this pack, he served that penalty, that commitment cone violation. He is also going to be in that lucky dog battle, and Tom Dixon here further on back. He has some help now with, it looks like, the 6 of Bud Steele, who has lost the main pack draft. So the 6 and the 411 here are going to be working together. Bud Steele still on the lead lap. Tom Dixon is going to be the last car 1 lap down. Patrick Groover is in this main pack here, 2 laps down, and then we'll find Farida Yuso further on back with the 07 of Iker Peguero. So these guys are further back than Bud Steele, but I believe Iker is still in the lead, or on the lead lap, and then Ambrose Kniebel is
he is as well, but he's
unfortunately,
he's in his island. But
yeah,
we got 3x3 up front here though, Boomer. I was saying, so I was looking back, so I was trying to figure out, like, wait, what happened to Patrick and Seth? And Patrick had a 51-second pit stop, so probably a speeding on entry. Seth had a 35-second pit stop, so I'm not sure what happened to Seth. That's a little bit of a wiggle there.
Maybe some damage repair?
I'm curious what he said. Maybe it was, maybe he's trying to just stay with his brother, but it's kind of an odd situation.
Wow.
Oh man, Andrew Schroeder though, that truck is getting a little wiggly in that Jets truck behind Peter DeBorgia. Like you said though, that's really shaking up the lucky dog battle, because now it's Giovanni, Seth, and Frank. The problem for Seth is he wants to be up there and fight to be in that position, but he just is afraid to right now. Oh man, Peter just clearing the 24 there. He wants to get up there and fight, but he's been still having those connection issues. So he's trying to be a good kind of team player type situation for everybody in the league, and so he's just kind of cruising the back because he doesn't want to risk his connection affecting others. So the other thing I was going to mention, Boomer, is those guys that pitted lap 45 like Ryan Decker, they've kind of just been cruising back on the inside line. So what that means is they're saving fuel again. They went 2 laps longer the first time. That could mean this last pit stop for them, if they can get under green, it's going to be a shorter pit stop. So that could be crucial for these guys to make that jump to the front of the field after that final pit stop, if we can get to that point, of course, which we're honestly not too far away. Next time by, we're going to be 2/3 distance, 25 to go.
Yeah, it definitely helps. We'll start counting down the laps instead of counting up. But the 48, the 83, the 21, they're still locked in there, 4th, 5th, and 6th in the inside lane, and just saving that fuel, like you mentioned. The further you can go, the less fuel you have to put in to go the rest of the distance, which means less time on pit road, which means better track position getting out of your final pit stop. So, maybe that's a good time to key up our sponsor Sensi there, talking about Ryan Decker and that sponsor on board. They're also a sponsor of the series as a whole. So we'll do a quick side-by-side here and have a little sponsor break.
Love fragrance, how it makes us feel, how it connects us to our deepest memories, how sharing those memories connects us with each other.
And as it turns out, there's a lot of people who feel the same way and share Scentsi's core values of simplicity, authenticity, and generosity. Our beautiful campus in Meridian, Idaho welcomes employees, consultants, and the community year-round.
That's why we've grown from selling just warmers and wax to selling a complete line of products, so you can fill your life with fragrance no matter where your day takes you.
Whether it's fun partnerships with beloved brands, innovative, high-performing cleaning products, laundry care that smells as good as it works, or personal care products to create your signature scent, Scentsi products are made to share.
Maybe that's why our culture has always felt like family. We call it Scentsi Spirit. It's a feeling of love, acceptance, generosity, and community that we share freely with everyone we meet. And we welcome you to experience it yourself. Like it? Buy the product. Love it? Host a get-together with your friends. Want more? Start your own Scentsi business. You can earn amazing trips around the world and rewards. You can work your business whenever and wherever you want, giving you more time for the things and people that matter most. Ask your Scentsi consultant for more info.
And you saw on the side-by-side plenty of side-by-side action on the racetrack as well. The 40 of Peter DeBorgia being pushed by the Everett Lane. And 24 as we got a wreck. The 071 83 are collected, and that's going to bring out our second caution for tonight.
Oh, yeah. 998. Jack Walls, Eric Laurie.
It's a big damage to the front end of that Walls Oil
I say I hate it. I was about to make a comment at some point too. It's like I love the paint scheme on it.
Beautiful looking car. Unfortunately, a little bit torn up there.
Connection issue strikes again. This time it's not. It's one that hasn't had any issues before. Right, I'll let you pull it back up, but yeah,
take it back to it. Oh, the 83 is already sideways by here, so let's grab a different camera angle and we'll just do a little quick rewind, see if we can make sense of what happened here. Alright, yeah, we see a little bit of a connection issue in the middle here. Oh, yep, there it is. Sorry about that. That threw me off a little bit with the connection issue in the middle. I lose my cameras when that happens, so we'll try and bring it back.
Yeah, you can see though. Like, I mean, you watch Eric Laurie, you see the 000 now. But then what's going to happen is coming out of 4, you'll see the 000 disappear, and then you'll see Eric Laurie just get turned to the like kind of right front to left rear. There he goes, he disappears, and then yeah, watch right there. Look at Eric.
Is getting spun. Yep.
Yeah, he's getting spun by basically the ghost of Giovanni, unfortunately.
Yep. So unfortunately, that's going to shut off that chain reaction. The 071, the 83 involved. And you see the chaos as it comes down, the short shoot into the tri-oval there. I mean, that's exactly what we were explaining when we said the blinking issue and then the reappearing issue, though. Obviously, you saw the 071, no fault of his own, just get turned with no car present. That's unfortunately, an issue with iRacing where a connection issue occurs. And the 071 reappeared, quote-unquote, his car in position and was inside the door of the 071 to cause him to spin. And unfortunately, there's not much that you can do about that other than try to, obviously fix the connection issue. But as it happens, there's not much you can do. And unfortunate for these guys. I think everyone's going to be mostly okay. A little bit of front-end damage to that 83. But we'll have to wait and see if they do take those fast repairs or not. And it looks like the 83 did take a fast repair there. And
yeah, I'm not sure. It looks like Eric. I'm trying to see how long he was on pit road. No, Eric saved his. I still see, I think, a little right rear crumple. I think there's unfortunately no choice for Corey. That truck, I mean, the whole front clip was popped off of it, if I remember right. So, and yes, and I'm able to kind of spy in the chat. And Giovanni was apologizing about it, but like, again, like we've been aware of the 04, we've been aware of the 32, and they have too. And just all of a sudden, like I said, we've been watching 000. He's been spot on all race long, and just unfortunate that it happened
Yeah,
this time. And
happened out
of
of
course,
nowhere.
it's just the worst time for it to happen when you're in the middle of a 3-wide battle. And again, but he was having to fight for that lucky dog, so like, he did everything right. It was like I said, just a bad just situation, circumstances, if you will. So
Yeah.
but now, Boomer, I think we're good on fuel here to the end. We might see some guys possibly top off here. We had some trouble way in the back here, so I'm going to look at that before I say anything to you. But
yeah, so we'll break it down at least as you make sense of that. But so breaking it down, looks like Andrew Schroeder is going to be your first car who came down pit road. It looks like we're going to see a bit of a gamble for Patrick Groover, Seth Groover, and who else? Farida Yuso is actually going to come down pit road. But it looks like we're going to see a gamble from Seth Groover and Patrick Groover to try and take the wave around here. They're going to elect not to pit, so they are ahead of the leader at the moment, who is the 84 of Andrew Schroeder. So they are trying to... they're going to be released by the pace car because they are ahead of the leader now. They've been each given one lap back. So it looks like for Seth, that will put him on the lead lap, and Patrick, that will put him one lap down. Just with the only lap down being now the issue of that penalty that he had when that first caution came out. But so that's going to put them, give them each one lap back. Patrick will still be one lap down, but battling for the lucky dog now.
But this is the good call. I definitely approve of this one because they can still go a fair bit distance on fuel, and like you said, it puts them back to one down. I think both one down is one down and two down now.
Yeah. No, they're
tail end and one down, or
end
lead
one,
lap and one down.
Yeah,
you know what I meant.
Yeah, no.
Words is hard.
Yeah.
But no,
helps.
so yes, no, this is a really great strategy because the thing is now these guys are going to start to get racy. So up front, these guys are going to be battling and want to get that track position. You never know kind of when and where stuff's going to happen. So yes, I mean, if you're Seth, you just basically play full protect mode. Just keep that truck safe and not get caught up in anything. Save fuel as much as you can. Patrick's going to have his own little battle, though. He's going to have to fight Tom Dixon. He's going to have to fight Frank Ranger Jr. To be able to try to get back onto the lead lap if there is a yellow. So it's going to be a bit of a fight here.
I think it works for them though because they both pit lap 43 for Seth, 42 for Patrick, and obviously they can go about 21, 22 laps. Let's say, if you throw in a couple extra laps of caution here with saving fuel, obviously that's going to help even more. So, I mean, it's not unreasonable to think that these guys could go to lap 65. 66 even, 10 inside of 10 to go. So if they get a caution the next 10 laps, they're definitely going to look like winners here. But we are ready to go back to green. The 84 and the 14 are going to be in the front row. The 83 of Jack Walls is going to grab his fast repair, and he's going to be right back in the mix with, looks like, Iker Peguero to his outside as we are going to get back
look
up
at
to
Iker
speed.
up there. Sorry to stump on you, but yeah,
No,
I'm to say good to see Iker up there. So he's been playing it safe. Said, all right, we're in the window to the end. Let me jump back up front here and see what I can make happen. So, Jacob Lee too. I mean, again, Jacob the fan favorite last week, giving Ryan Decker his first win, giving him a good push there. So yeah, so say some of these guys said, all right, time to go. They've jumped to the front here.
Yeah, a lot of cars single file on back as a couple cars topping off a little bit on fuel, and we'll see pretty much mostly single file here, but that second lane is starting to form a little bit there behind Iker. It's going to get a shove here, it looks like, and it's actually going to split 3 wide almost. We're trying to sort it out here in the middle. We'll pull up, highlight Iker here.
I think Farida's jumping up. I think
Iker's.
Yep. Yeah.
So now Bud Steele and the 48 teammates there, they're going to drive on through to the middle, and then the 07 and the 09 should have a chance to get linked up here. Their two teammates there is Nick Wing's going to go on through the middle in that number 28 Good Wrench.
There they all jumping up now. Jason Bogart
lane.
saw the momentum shift, said, don't mind if I do.
Yep. And you see some of these names, obviously.
And Vicente too, look at this. They see the momentum coming.
Yeah, at the front here, Vicente's going to jump up to the top, and they're going to ride that train all the way to the front. You see some of these names here, the 14 of Vicente, the 10 of Jason Bogart. These guys are doing what they can. They've got their green highlighted names. They're trying to win this championship here in the playoffs, and they are coming alive at the time when it is right. Vicente's going to get all the way up to the lead here. Jason Bogart is going to get to at least third on that lap, and they're going to try and continue to move forward here and see what they can do to secure some good points on the first night of the playoffs here.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And man, I'll say
83 is going to jump to the high
Schroeder,
side too.
He's like, man, what do I have to do to get a teammate down here? So yeah, he's
Frank Ranger Jr. to help in a second, but yeah, that outside lane, nobody wants to be on the inside. They just want to stay single file in the outside lane. There's a 4-car, almost 5-car breakaway in the outside lane.
But look at the outside lane though. It's all those guys I was talking about in Roswell. You've got Jason Bogart now leading Jack Walls. You've got the 21 of Jacob Lee's in there, Ryan Decker, Bud Steele. So all those guys are in that Roswell Discord. So right now they've got 5 trucks deep, if I'm not mistaken. Now Jack getting to the inside though. So yeah, so they're starting to try to control this thing here up front as we got 16 to go. A little bit of a side-to-side contact there.
Yeah, these guys are starting to get even dicier as it continues on. But yeah, you've got 4 cars in the outside for Roswell Motorsports now. The 83 of Jack Walls in the inside lane. They are in complete control of this pack. As you typically would see a couple cars in the outside lane make a little bit of progress and then maybe push 1 car ahead to the inside lane at a time. And the 21 there with a big push to the back of the 10. The 10 gets loose, saves it, and we continue on. But they're still in control because obviously Vicente can't do anything but push the 83 in front of him. He has nowhere to go. The 84 has nowhere to go because he's got 4 teammates lined up to his outside. The only one that's going to be able to do anything is anybody that can try and make that third lane happen. But we do still have, I think we can go to the end, or do we need one more pit stop? Everyone pitting on lap 54.
Should be good, I think.
So we should be good to go to the end as Vicente finally gets free, and he's going to try and take control of that outside lane away from the Roswell Motorsports drivers. So he's going to be ahead of Jason Bogart there. But Jack Walls continuing to lead this race. And contact. There's the caution that the Gruber brothers were hoping for.
Oh, big hits there. Corey Buskirk got again the worst of it. We'll see if that truck's able to roll. That may be night over for him, unfortunately. So you can see.
Yeah, he's still stuck there.
See some wheel input, but yeah, I think that's going to be night done.
Yep, he is already towed to the pit lane. But you see here, push from the 411. Just gets to 79 a little sideways, the 999 big contact, and then outside wall. That motor's definitely blown. The 071 getting a little bit of contact. Some playoff implications there for him. And then Jim Brooks, boom, big hit. Kwabi Brooks just barely getting through. But there was a big hit coming through there.
Yeah, 51. So the 51 definitely going to need a faster pair there.
Yeah,
as well.
Sure.
And but you're right though. I mean the Gruber brothers. I'll to see.
That was the gamble that they wanted.
Was it? Yeah, I'll have to see who it was though, because it's possible Frank Ranger Jr. is actually up at the very front of this whole pack. So Frank may actually get the wave around in all of this. As long as he wasn't involved, I think he was the highest running of the drivers a lap down.
Yeah, I'm not talking even about the lucky dog situation, but they took the waiver on the last pit on the last yellow there. So if they didn't have a caution, they were going to have to come down and get fuel under green in about 5 laps. So that was definitely the caution that they were hoping to see, was my point there. But yeah, I also had to pay attention. I think it's going to be Frank Ranger Jr. It looks like he's already hanging out there in the outside lane for Blind Squirrel Racing. He's going to get I believe his lap back here, but we see a couple cars coming down pit road, led by Peter DeBorgia, Dude Conrad, Mike Rimkus, Kevin Freese, Eric Laurie, Everett Lane, Jimmy Reynolds, and a whole slew of the Groover brothers as well. So first through 8th pretty much stay out. Kevin Lee's going to get promoted to 9th by not pitting. And then you see 10th through 21st now on pit road. A couple drivers taking their fast repairs there. Jacob Lee actually, lap 54 was his last pit. So pretty much everybody here Everybody who stayed out pit on either lap 54 or 55, so like we mentioned, should be plenty of fuel to go to the end, especially you see them all taking the shortest distance around the racetrack on the apron there. Not really playing with that fuel pickup. Obviously, the fuel pickup makes a little bit of a difference to what side it is in the gas tank, but with dropping to the apron there, really all they're doing is just shortening the distance around the racetrack so they can drive less less miles and maximize that fuel. But yeah, we're going to be, I think we'll be 11 to go by the time we cross the stripe for the green flag. And it looks like Jack Walls, Vicente Guerrero, Andrew Schroeder, Jason Bogart, and Jacob Lee are going to be your top 5 to restart here. Ryan Decker, Bud Steele, Nick Wing, Kevin Lee, Dude Conrad. Dude Conrad was the first to pit under this cycle here, coming off ahead of Peter DeBorgia, Mike Rimkus, Rick Sanchez, Jimmy Reynolds, and Everett Lane. So that's from 10th to 15th. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. It looks like Eric Laurie is still stuck in the pit lane, potentially.
Yeah, because he had used his fast repair too, so he's just trying to get every little bit fixed. So
Tom Dixon is also repairing quite a bit of damage. We didn't mention, so from that, we neglected to mention from the previous caution, actually, Giovanni Occhipinti, he's been sitting in his pit stall for 13 minutes now himself, so he is likely out of this one for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely a tough night for Corey Buskirk. We see him, he has, it looks like, retired
the
car, so that is going to be very unfortunate for him and his playoff hopes, as he had, like you mentioned, Gael, up to this point has had a heck of a season and been there when he needed to, and just things taking him out when they're out of his
it's just
control.
2 wrecks that he literally got right hooked into the outside wall, like literally just, I mean, wrong place, wrong time to the extreme, basically. So yeah, I'm gutted for Corey. He'd had just such a good season going, and again, I mean, there's still, you never know how these final 3 races after tonight are going to go. Obviously, tonight hurts, just again based on it's only 4 races to get everything you can. So that's a tough break for him. Like I said, he was definitely one that I was keeping an eye on, because like I said, just he's been super consistent. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Like I said, he and Eric Laurie, I say they've both been in a really tough spot. I say Eric had to use his a little earlier too. He wasn't as bad damage wise. Like I said, he was at least able to have a motor. So it's gonna be interesting. And of course now as well though, Boomer, Dude Conrad on back, these guys have plenty of fuel to get all the way through all the green white checkered finishes should they need it, because again, we do have 3 of them. The question mark is going to be those guys in the top 9 positions. How far can they go if we get more than one, if we go past the scheduled distance?
Yeah, they'll have about 20 laps of fuel in the tank, obviously all pitting on lap 54 or 55, so 21, 20. It definitely helps a lot to have these laps under caution, so there's quite a few, 2 or 3 caution laps at least in there for them, so that's going to make a difference and should help them out a little bit, just to try and maximize. But you never know, they may not have enough for maybe a second or even the 3rd green white checkered attempt. But like I always say, just have to wait and see as the pace car is going to pull off here, and we are going to get ready. They are stacked up 2 by 2. 22 cars on the lead lap are going to try and win this race here at Talladega Superspeedway. You remember the green names highlighted in green are your playoff drivers. They're trying to have a good night for themselves, as Jack Walls is going to lead us back to green. He is competing for himself, trying to win a race. Obviously still have plenty of drivers still in the field trying to do what they can to help their teammates out, but also win a race for themselves. And the 83 of Jack Walls is going to do that. If not, he's going to help out those Roswell Motorsports teammates of his, as he's going to be in the inside lane. Not much help from the 84 on that restart, but the 10 and the 14 are lined up really well, and they're actually going to get themselves clear and may push themselves to the bottom lane. We'll see if they make the move. But that 3rd lane is forming as, the 14 gets down. The 10 doesn't have enough room to be cleared. The 8 looks like a Dude Conrad. The 24 and the 32 out there in the outside lane. Seth Groover is right back in the mix here, and a great recovery from him as we are 3 wide, at least 4 rows deep. Most of this pack in this big battle here as we get down to 10 to go at the line.
Yeah, at the line there, Jason did have the point there at the line, but again, though, still, like I said, 10 more that we have to do to get to that point. But yeah, you can tell it's go time for these guys. They're going for it all. Like you mentioned, I mean, the 32 truck again, he was just tailing lead lap, just hoping for the yellow, not to be involved in it. He got his wish. Just right now, a little bit of contact, little offset push there. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a tight moment, but we are still green, still 3 wide. Just watching as it settles out here. But the inside line definitely has a good breakaway. The 14 to 83, the 84, and the 11 there. As the middle lane tries to regroup, Peter DeBorgia is, the 32 may have continued connection issues. You saw that issue in the top of the screen. That was just from his connection as he was blinking in and out of the session. So he's going to be forced to drop to the back. Unfortunate for him for sure, as we are 9 laps to go. He was working on a really good recovery, but the internet connection issues he's continuing to have are going to plague him still. But we stay green. The 14, the 83, the 84 still lined up inside lane. The 40 with a hard charge now from Peter DeBorgia, as he's going to have the help of, looks like Jacob Lee there in the 21 truck, as well as the 17 of Frank Ranger. No, sorry, that's the 6 of Bud Steele. Similar car, similar paint schemes. That's the 6 of Bud Steele, third car in the middle lane now.
Yeah, no, I'm picking around to see. I say Ambrose rolling the apron now. He's same thing. He's noticed his connections acting up, so he's going to go ahead and try to let these guys swing on by here. So unfortunate again, but again, just being a good team player, and yeah, I hope that they can get that stuff resolved. That's so frustrating for them. They shouldn't have to be dealing with all that. So now, though, like I said, Patrick Groover now he's in a really nice spot to be able to be in that position for the lucky dog. So yeah, so like I said, it's still all to play for because I mean I can hear you and I've been trying to peek in multiple things and
man,
there's so much happening, so much movement going on. These guys trying to find the right lane at the right time.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if we get another lucky dog at least, but man, they are moving side by side so much. You see the wiggle from the 14, the 84 on the bottom there. The 21 continues to lead here, the 14 pushing him, the 40 and the 6 in the middle lane, the 8 and the 24 with the 25 have caught up in the outside lane and are making really good progress here as they continue to battle 3 wide here, 7 laps to go. The intensity is a 10 out of 10. As we see a lot of wiggling in the middle there. People trying to break 3, the 10, trying to get ahead of the 8, not quite clear, and they are going to try and wiggle down the backstretch as best they can. Man, these trucks are very squirrely out there right now.
Yeah,
going to jump up to cover.
Yeah, that's a good move there. And the other thing, too, is, I mean, we talk about playoff drivers, non-playoff drivers. The other thing that a non-playoff driver can do is they can take points away from a competing playoff driver. So there's a lot that can kind of come into that, too. So, like, for instance, if you're Jacob Lee, it's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to be working with Jason Bogart and company. All right. If I can prevent Vicente from winning, that way it allows Jason to gain a couple points that way. That's also a bonus too. And of course, I mean, for Jacob, I mean, he just wants to win this race too. Like I said, there's like, if you have a teammate, you're pushing a teammate
to 4 wide. Oh, wow. What a big push from the 21 as the 14 gets sideways and saves it incredibly. The 21 is going to get down in front of the 10, and we've got more side-by-side battles further on throughout the pack. The 14, the 28 makes side-by-side contact through turns 3 and 4. We are still green.
Wow.
25 jumps to the high side. 2 by 2 at the front. It's Peter DeBorgia in the middle lane, the 6 of Bud Steele, the 84 and the 11 in the inside lane, the 25, the 24 and the 83 the 25 and the 14 now are going to try to make that high line work as the 48's going to cut him off. Makes a little bit of contact there, and they're going to make the third lane start back up all over again, led by Jacob Lee this time.
Oh, we got trouble in the back.
Oh, there's a 5 around.
Oh, the 5, the 071.
Oh, the 071. Yeah. There is the caution that we were expecting.
And I'm poking around to find a Patrick Groover, and I don't think he was anywhere near. I'm going to go back and take a look myself while you pull up that replay. And no, it's all behind Patrick, so we should get the 54 truck now back on that lead lap, having a chance to still go after this win.
Yeah, we'll try and back it up just a little more here. take it back to the point of yellow and then rewind just a little more, see if we can understand this a little better
Oh
here.
yeah, yeah. It
Oh, yep.
was
You see kind of that chain reaction.
fighting for real estate. Yeah, you see,
Yeah,
watch the
so
14. He tries to sneak down Mike Rimkus in the 79. He's got to react to that, and then unfortunately, just Rick was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Let's say, really, just honestly, all I kind of attribute to is just really, really hard racing here at the end of it. So,
yeah,
and again, though, I mean, the bad luck drivers of the race, though, I mean, how do you not? I mean, the 990
Ooh,
of Corey
26 involved.
Buskirk, Eric Laurie again getting caught up in something not of his own doing.
Yeah.
That's just, oh man, it's just one of those. It's like, okay, this is just, it's not my night. Is basically all you can say on some of these.
Yeah, it's there's not much that you can do when the racing gods are mad at you, and it's just wrong place, wrong time. I don't think anybody. I mean, obviously the 14 trying to push the issue a little bit there, but I really can't even blame him for making the move. Obviously just not clear of the 79 and chain reaction and some innocent bystanders involved, and that'll be it. But I mean, fairly harmless contact. I mean, those 71's going to have quite a bit of damage. I think the 5 is going to be okay, and I don't think he's been in any issues, yet. So he should be in a good position here to take his fast repair, as we'll see him come down pit road, and we'll see if that stuff on the left side door gets repaired or not. But
yeah, he's even missing that left front fender too. So yeah, I was gonna say maybe just get it repaired. That's fast repair territory.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm assuming we're about to see that car. If we can get a camera angle of it, maybe not.
Yeah, I'm spying on him, and yeah, he just got a magic pop back in. It's like he has a brand new truck. So he's rolling again. Patrick Groover, he's been waved around the pace car, so he is back on that lead lap as well. But man, look at this though, Boomer. 2 names we have not seen in this league for a long time: Andrew Schroeder, Kevin E. Lee. 1-2. I mean, that just tells you, like I said, these guys just, I mean, I'm sure prior commitments and things going on, and then just get them in the right place, right time, and they're right back up into this mix. And I mean, right now, yeah, our top 3 are kind of our part-timers with Andrew, Kevin, and Peter. So like I said, like, look at the championship guys, and it's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we mentioned it already. Even Peter DeBorgia, Jacob Lee in the 21, Nick Wing in 7th, Kevin Freese in 10th. These guys are not in the championship standings. They're not competing for that championship here, but they still want to win. I mean, everybody wants to win. Everybody, we're all racers here. You have that drive and desire, and it's just like watching the one of Ross Chastain getting the race win. The last race of the season as Blaney wins a championship. These guys are all race car drivers, and whether the championship is on the line for them or not, they're going to do everything they can to win the race. Obviously, some of them have some other intentions to help some teammates out and help them compete, but they still want to do well for themselves as well. And we're going to have to see how that plays out. But right now there's 3 cars. You have to go all the way back to 4th place to get to Bud Steele, who is the first championship contender. Jason Bogart, Ryan Decker, and Jim Brooks looking to have really solid nights so far after all the issues you've seen from the 998, the 32, and the 54. Eric Laurie is having his issues. Thankfully, at least for the Groover brothers, they should both be back on the lead lap now. Seth may still be battling some issues with internet connection, but hopefully Patrick can get up here and give it a run for it. And just have to see what it takes, but I think we're going to have lights out on the pace car, so this is actually going to be a natural green-white checkered here, so we're not technically extending the distance of the race, but it'll be 2 to go on the next lap.
I gotta step on you there. Sorry.
Yeah.
This will actually be attempt number 1, because we're actually gonna restart we're gonna restart as if, like, basically it would be almost, if we didn't have a green white checkered, it'd be a white checkered. But so basically right now it'd be 1 extra lap. So of a green white checkered situation, this is probably about the best that those guys that didn't top off are hoping for. And I've heard a lot of peanut gallerying as well, listening to these drivers. Peter DeBorge is offering some of the drivers that have not topped off some fuel at a slightly increased price per gallon if they're interested. But so like I said, I think these guys here up front that didn't pit, I think they're all still safe to go this one. I really don't think there's any more after this one though. So
Yeah,
so
it'll be
like
tough.
Andrew Schroeder, Kevin E. Lee, Bud Steele, Jason Bogart, Jacob Lee, Ryan Decker, and Nick Wing. Not feeling the most confident for additional green white checkers, but yeah, I mean Peter DeBorgia, he should be good. I mean Jim Brooks, Kevin Freeze, they could turn in a bad situation into a good one with what happened on the previous yellow. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. As they also got to find where those teammates are around, see if they can do. I do see the 6, the 10, and the 48 together on the outside line. I think again they're sharing a Discord, so we'll see if they can get organized here on this first attempt.
Pace car is going to pull off. The 84 will be the control car as we get through the long tri-oval of Talladega Superspeedway here. The 11 of Kevin Lee will be in the outside lane, Peter DeBorgia, and the 6 of Bud Steele, and then Jacob Lee in the 21 for your top 5 as we get ready to go here. It is going to be our first attempt at a green-white checkered here. Up through the gearbox they go, up to speed, and we'll see who can come back a winner in 2 laps.
Yeah, of course, for those maybe not familiar, which I think at this point everybody is, but if there's another incident before that white flag flies, they will rack them up and do it up to those 2 more attempts for a total of 3. However, if they get to that white flag at that point, it's an official race, and then it's just within reason who gets the line first at admin discretion, no passing below the yellow line, things of that nature. So now the question is, Boomer, can these guys stay locked on and push for these 2 laps and keep those temps in check or not? So we'll see, but right now I see the 3rd lane. First one up there's Dude Conrad. He's got great help from Everett Lane and Rick Sanchez going along with him.
Yeah, at this point, these guys are just pushing as hard as they can. They are not lifting no matter what, and they're going to try to get to the lead as the 6 of Bud Steele is going to jump up with Jason Bogart and the 48. They're going to take over the high lane. They're going to cover. Oh, there's going to be a wreck behind them, but we should be able to get to the white flag, so they're going to race all the way back to the line here. Everybody that is still in this pack, it's the 84 and the 40 in the inside lane, the 6 and the 10. They have another teammate in the 48 behind them, the 21 also in that crew. They're trying to get momentum, but the momentum is in the bottom right now. 84, Andrew Schroeder has the pace. The 40 of Peter DeBorgia has the push at the moment. The 11 of Kevin E. Lee is going to jump to the middle lane at the moment here, but he's not going to have much help as Peter DeBorgia is going to stay locked onto the 84. Kevin Freese in the 25. We got 5 cars at the front of this pack that are not in the playoffs. Dude Conrad now the first car in the top 5 with that green name, trying to get some points for the playoffs here, but Andrew Schroeder has a great push from Peter DeBorgia. Will he step out of line, or will he follow him all the way to the checkered flag? We'll see through the tri-oval. Checkered flag is in the air. He gets to the bottom, but it's not going to be enough. The 84 is going to win it.
What a drive, Andrew Schroeder. And like you said, man, top 4, 5 of the top 10, no non-playoff drivers are really, really good job. So yeah, so again though, that honestly, that's a good situation for some of those that aren't in the playoff hunt, or sorry, that are in the playoff hunt that didn't get a good result. So yeah, but what a finish, what a job though by him.
Yeah, and I think we'll probably hear from him in his interview, but I mean, Peter DeBorgia stayed very well committed to him to push him across the line, and that definitely seemed to make the difference there, as Kevin Freese was the only one who was able to get up to 3rd there. Still a good showing for him, but yeah, it's crazy to see 5 names not highlighted in green, and they're all in the top 6 as well at the front of this pack. So definitely an up and down night for some of our playoff contenders, but we've got a couple guys to bring up to interview. But what do you think, Gael? You want to do finishing lineup before our interviews, or you want to get to those after?
Let's go with the finishing order.
Alrighty, so we'll bring that up here. As you see the 84 celebrating in the background, it's going to be Andrew Schroeder Sr., the designation in his iRacing name. He is going to finish first here tonight. Peter DeBorgia stayed locked onto the back of his bumper. He's going to finish 0.04 of a second behind him. Kevin Freese had a good run in the outside lane trying to get up to the front. Not quite enough, but he is going to settle for a 3rd place and a podium finish here tonight. Jacob Lee had a pretty solid night himself there. Saw a little bit of up and down for him, but pretty good, solid top 5 finish. And Dude Conrad, the first of our playoff drivers here tonight, he's going to come home with a good chunk of points as he continues to battle for that championship. Then you see Kevin E. Lee was up there at the front there. final restart for the green-white checkered and had a pretty good showing all night long. He's going to come home in the 6th position. Vicente Guerrero, that second playoff driver there in the field, he was pretty much up at the front there. Had a couple issues in the middle, but still really solid points in, especially with Dude Conrad only being 2 spots ahead of him. And we see Jim Brooks, some of the Roswell Motorsports guys. Jim Brooks, Bud Steele, really solid finishes for those guys. 3rd and 4th finishers in the playoffs. So of the playoff drivers, so a really good night for them, as well as Rick Sanchez there. So not too bad night for Rick after the contact that he had in the final caution of the night. You see Jason Bogart there coming home in the 11th position. Everett Lane was doing all that he could to get that 3rd lane formed at different times tonight, but he's going to come home in 12th. Ryan Decker is in a comfortable 13th, so not too bad compared to the rest of the playoff drivers, but going to start pretty much all the playoff drivers behind him are going to start to sweat it out and going to have some good races here on out in the next 3 before we settle our championship. We saw Mike Rimkus there get involved in a couple cautions, not necessarily of his own doing there, but coming home pretty solidly in the top 15 there. Kawabe Brooks as well in 15th. Pretty much everyone back here had some issues on that final lap, got caught up in some chaos that you saw off of camera, off screen, but Patrick Groover, not a bad recovery for him to come home in the 16th position. Jimmy Reynolds there, we saw him getting caught up in that final caution, and that's going to leave him 17th for tonight, and Seth Groover there. Again, a big recovery for the Groover brothers. It could have been well deep into the 20s, and to have a top 20 finish for both those guys, I'm sure that it's not what they wanted, but definitely not as bad as it could have been. So running through the rest of this field, we saw Jack Walls there. He's going to come home, bring that 83 home in the 19th position, and Eric Laurie in the playoffs here. Not the night that he was hoping for, but, I mean, really, like as you mentioned, Gael, not much that he could have done on his own. Just wrong place, wrong time in so many different situations. Unfortunate for him, but that's the way it goes sometimes. So behind him, we're going to see Iker Peguero in that 07 machine. He's going to come home about 26 seconds behind the leaders, so you could assume him as well as Frank Ranger Jr. and Nick Wing involved in some incidents on that final lap. Ambrose Kniebel never really able to recover, had some connection issues throughout the night, but he's going to come home the only car 1 lap down. Frida Yuso, we saw him get tangled up in one of the yellows there towards the earlier stages of the race. He's going to come home 2 laps down, and then we saw, obviously, Tom Dixon, Corey Buskirk, and Giovanni Occhipinti just caught up in incidents, unfortunately, especially for Giovanni, not of his own doing. Even Corey Buskirk, just wrong place, wrong time, and Tom Dixon as well. So unfortunate for those guys to have to retire early. But that is the field as we went through it tonight and that finishing order. I think now, I believe we've got a few interviews to do here, Gael.
We do. So I'm going to pull up our first one. Is our 3rd place finisher, a Mr. Kevin Fries. And so I'm excited to see what you pull up, because he's always got a really fun driver picture. So I'm excited to see what he's got for us this evening. So
I haven't changed it in a while.
All right, so we're still rocking some Step Brothers, then I'm guessing.
Yep.
Let's say once we get to cooperate,
Yeah.
But I mean, Kevin, you obviously there was a lot going on tonight. We saw you had to do some drifting in the grass there in turn 3. Because man, towards the end,
wall and grass inspection. That's what I told everybody.
Yeah, I mean, you did a good inspection there. I mean, you probably gave it a good trim. I say Eric, obviously, hopefully use some John Deere lawn care equipment on that one too. But it was eventful tonight. I mean, the strategy. I say, obviously, I know on the back end you did some admin work to say I commend you for all your hard work on getting all the stuff squared away for like the fuel numbers and all. We talked about that a little bit because just it was one of those things where we didn't want to make it a fuel mileage race right off the get go. If yellows fall the way they do, then so be it. That's racing.
And
but
that's the way it actually felt tonight.
If that
race had stayed green, it would have been a little bit of a fuel mileage race, unfortunately. But some people, like that. But it was going to be really close. And the whole goal is to make it so that there's not a penalty for somebody who chooses to run up front, be the leader. But last week, that was just the freak case where the race went green to green for green flag to checker flag, I think for the first time this season in the trucks, and with the way the trucks are drafting at the higher speeds, they just seem to be burning more fuel than they historically have, because the fuel was previously set to make it so that there was no penalty for leading. So that was unfortunate for those guys last week. So we definitely wanted to make that right and prevent that moving forward.
Yeah, so now we go to the race itself and talk about playoffs. Top 4 drivers, non-playoff drivers. Obviously, I know your goal is to try to help help Eric and help Dude out as best you could. Still Dude got a top 5, so a good result for him. But yeah, just let's say it seemed like the way things unfolded there at the end, it's like, well, let's just get the best result we can. And something I mentioned to Boomer, is it maybe where you guys finishing ahead of the other playoff drivers actually then helps your teammates more? Was there any thought process on that, or it's just like, you know what, let me just get the best result I can for myself at that point?
Yeah, I was trying to help them as much as I could. Right before that caution, there was a massive checkup up top that got people stacked up a whole lot. So I pulled down to the bottom to not run people over, and then that caution came out right after. It got us a little separated, and I was hoping that the boys would get the run on the top, but it looked like there was a lot on that. I think it was coming to the white flag. A lot of cars just decided to go to the second and third lane, so it just opened up the bottom for me, and I got right to Peter's bumper, and he stayed in line, gave some solid pushes, and we were all happy to survive that one.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a good opportunity. Obviously, a couple guys in the team still competing in the playoffs, but you trying to get everything that you can here. No team mentality kind of takes over, but at the end there, it seemed like you had some opportunities to try and fight for it yourself. And did you think that you could get all the way to the front there, or?
No.
No, okay.
No, unfortunately, part of why I put a survey out to the drivers to see if we want to continue running the truck is the trucks are just so fast right now. Like the pack used to normally top out, your high speeds were like top speed end of the backstretch was 193. Now we're doing 193 in the corner. And it's just so hard to get a run going and then that run not die out. Like you see a lot more difficulty getting the third lane going because the speeds are so high that they make all your temperatures just skyrocket immediately. And it's really, really unfortunate sometimes because you see people with huge runs and then they hit that fresh, clean air and it's like they just deploy the parachute. And we were trying to push, Everett was trying to push Dude on the top side and I couldn't get there fast enough. And I'm wide open doing like 196. And I couldn't get to them fast enough. And then by the time I did, of course, Everett was boiling hot. So we had to gather our temps. And when that happened, we got cycled a little bit. So it was like, you make a little progress. Yeah, then you'll lose it because you get hot. And then you're back to square one. Or losing big time from where you could have been. You have to time it perfectly and get your run in the first shot to clear. It's really frustrating sometimes, but it's the cards we're dealt by iRacing when they kick the speeds up significantly.
Yeah, and I think you put the nail on the head there with the temperatures because that was the discussion of the night for all you guys. I was spying on you all, and yeah, there's lots like I gotta do something. It's too hot. I gotta back it down or move. And we even saw you just had to change lanes. Like I can't. I just gotta jump out of line. So yeah, there's a lot of adjustments you guys had to make throughout the course of the race. But again, you guys did a really, really good job with it all there, to just even have a chance at it there at the end. So. But yeah, great job though tonight, Kevin. It's like good to have you back as well. I know you've had some vacation and stuff. I say summer's just about winding down. I say with everybody starting to come back to reality. So, and I say yeah. So before we let you go, definitely want to give you the floor. Any thanks and shouts for that podium tonight.
Yeah, thank you to all the drivers coming out tonight. I think this was either the tied for the largest or it was up there with the biggest field we've had all season. And That's really encouraging to see. I hope everybody keeps coming out. These races are a heck of a lot of fun here. We try and keep it a light mood, and look out for all the drivers who are racing for something, and make sure that everybody gets raced with respect. That's just absolutely number one. So thank you to the drivers who did their part tonight, and thank you to you guys who held down the fort while I was out in Indy. And absolutely loved going over to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That was a really cool experience. And thank you to my teammates tonight. Hopefully we can keep them safe and keep them in the playoff chase. I updated the points if you do want to bring it up for people. So yeah, I hope everybody enjoyed it and they have a good night.
Great job, Kevin. Look forward to seeing you again here soon, sir.
All right. You guys have a good night.
All right. Yeah, I'll run through the points after we do the interviews, Boomers, just so I say we'll work on a graphic for the future one. But now, usually this truck has a lot of other trucks that have his paint scheme on it, and that is this Peter DeBorgia fellow. And honestly, he's throwing it over to one of his teammates, his buddies there, Mr. Gabe Butler. But Peter, I said we talked pre-race. You're like, yep, my goals. I'm going to be trying to help some teammates, and it didn't go great for your teammates there. I made a comment to Eric in the chat where it's like, man, let's say he's gonna have to do some sort of a sacrificial something or other to get some luck turned around, because he was just in all the wrecks, it seemed like. And then at the end though, you, Andrew, and Kevin get hooked up, and so you guys kind of set sail there to get the 1, 2, 3. I mean, take us through the original strategy. I mean, how many times did you have to kind of change the game plan tonight?
Oh, well, I didn't do it right. I was just told follow the green car and push him to the win. Did I goof that up?
It was a green car.
Okay. Oh man, that was wild. There was just so many times where either Eric or Dude were caught in something, and me and Kevin and Everett were and Jimmy were there just kind of to look after those guys. Like that was the main goal tonight. Is just make sure that they leave with as many points as they possibly can. And it just felt like Eric was always the wrong place, wrong time, and there were opportunities for us there to get him a little farther forward, and then it seemed like that crash would happen right in front of us, or we'd be worried about him falling off the end. And towards the end of that race there, my goal, I shifted. I had the better track position. I had the clean truck. I had 0x. I could go get a clean truck if I needed to. I was concentrating on Dude. So, like, the last 10 laps of that race, I was just looking on the standings, and I was looking for the capital letters, and I was like, let's just make sure Dude Conrad's at the top of that pile. I don't care if the 84 wins, or the 25 wins, or the 21 wins. None of those guys typically matter for that sake. So, we got that late restart there. I had Schroeder right next to me, and Bud Steele was next to me. Or, sorry, Schroeder was in front of me, and Bud Steele was right next to me, and I was just thinking to myself, I'm just not letting Bud win. No offense to Bud. I love him with him. I had no issues with Bud whatsoever, but for the sake of, Dude Conrad's championship hopes and Eric Laurie's championship hopes, I wanted to make sure there was as many lowercase names in front of him as possible. So I was committed to Andrew there, and that was all she wrote. Then at the end, it was about to blow up, and I didn't want to kill Kevin and, let a bunch of those guys leapfrog us. So I just peeked out for a little air, but there was no intention on passing Andrew. I've run with him in a few other leagues, and he's a stand-up guy, and I don't think he gets too many victory interviews, and I wanted to make sure he got this one.
Yeah, definitely seemed like it was a cool opportunity. I mean, you seemed very, very committed to him at the end there. I mean, pretty much from the drop of the green flag on that first green-white checkered there, seemed like that was the plan all along. But for the most of the night, you seem like you've kind of stayed out of trouble and were able to kind of keep the car fairly clean at least and stay up there and be in position. But it seemed like once you got there, that commitment was there pretty much 100%.
Yeah, all of my choices just had to be keep as many options open as possible so that I could be flexible to whatever Dude or Eric needed. So that meant don't get aggressive and have too much fun early on if it kills one of your trucks, and then you got to be careful when they're racing up front. Or don't go a lap down by doing something too aggressive on pit entry. Or, just don't get caught outside there when everyone's trying to pit on this lap. So I just wanted to make sure that every choice that I made tonight was just always allowing for maximum flexibility there to help people out. And getting locked there in the bottom, I went over to Andrew's Discord there. He raced by himself tonight. He won the race. It's pretty awesome. I hopped over there and I said, like, I'm gonna be committed to you. Just don't run out of gas, because I see you shutting it off on the apron there. But in the words of maximum flexibility there, that's why I pitted with like the 11 to go or whatever it was when we had that last caution. There was nothing wrong with my car. I had enough gas to make it to the end, but I just wanted to have all 3 green whites in the tank anyhow. I was just like, all right, cool. if we're 11th instead of 8th on this restart, is really not the end of the world. So I just went in there and splash and go and stopped at pit exit so that way dude could leapfrog in front of me. And then the outside just didn't go, and all of a sudden we were a top 5 truck. So it just broke our way. I'm just really proud to make that Guinness truck get some sponsorship exposure here on Green White Checker TV again, because it's been a minute, and we're thinking of Gabe and Jeannie and hoping everything's going as good as it can. And pretend race cars will be here for you whenever you're back, Gabe. But we're thinking about you and miss you, bud.
Yeah, I say definitely share those sentiments as well. And say before we let you get to your other things and shouts, of course, as well. So the other question I had is, did you get any takers on your fuel offer there? So the price per gallon wasn't too overpriced. So it was pretty fair, I felt like. But did you get any takers on it?
No, I mean, even with our key bridge going down a couple months ago, our Maryland fuel prices are pretty good. But yeah, I knew those guys at the front were struggling. They were right in the apron until like exit of 4 on 1 to green. So I was worried that one of them was going to run out coming to the checkered there. But Andrew said if it went to a second green white, he wasn't going to make it. So I know a bunch of those guys were really stretching it there, and that just goes to show like how much it matters for some guys. Like Andrew's like, I'm not a playoff driver. I don't have to worry about getting 20th instead of first. I'll let it ride. Same thing with Jacob. But Bud was like mid-pack towards the back for a lot of it. He was like, here's my chance to steal one, and he stayed out. So it would have been really interesting there if we had gotten a second green white. I don't know how it would have shaken out, but I'm happy with the second place too. It worked out great.
Nah, it was a great job tonight, Peter. Yeah, definitely want to give you the floor though. Any thanks and shouts for that podium or the podium runner up tonight.
Yeah, just thanks to you guys for putting it on, all the people who are watching. It's always really cool to, we can't see them right now, but it's cool to go back and watch the broadcast and see what you guys were talking about as the race was going on. And like I said before, thinking about Gabe and Jeannie and all the guys who showed up for boot knocking tonight that aren't always here all the time. Like Everett's near a good bit, but not all the time. And Jimmy and Kevin making it a point to come out here that we were focused on getting Eric and Dude, keeping the boot knocker championship trophy pile going for those guys. So Dude's walking out of here at the points lead, which is great. Eric is only 15 points out of it, which, considering his night's pretty darn good. It could have gone a whole lot worse. So we're just going to put one foot in front of the other and see you guys next Sunday, and hopefully we can build on that.
Good to have you, Peter. Glad to have you on the track. And yeah, good job tonight. Look forward to seeing more of you, man.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, Boomer. So this one, I feel like you might be, spoiler alert. We talked about off camera, but so you're going to be biting your tongue this whole interview because you've got competition in the winner's circle here tonight from you being a diehard Bills fan to seeing a Jets truck in victory lane. So
you better get used to that.
So Andrew,
when we win the Super Bowl. Sorry.
No, you're good, man. We haven't seen you for a little while. You show up, you win a race. I mean, you going back to like, man, I should have maybe run here more recently.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna come back. I've been just doing some other things on Sundays, and it's good to be back, man. And it was good. I got to find a team because it's much harder to run when you don't have many teammates. But I had Pete helping me, a couple of the guys from some other leagues, so it was good. Wouldn't have made another green white checkered though. I was real close on fuel. I think I had like half a lap left.
Yeah, we noticed when you guys pit on lap 54, 55, we were assuming that you probably weren't going to make it for another green white checkered. So I assume you're pretty happy to see that white flag when it finally flew.
Yeah, because I kept hearing over the radio, wreck on the backstretch, wreck in turn 3, and I'm going, but we were hardcore saving there in the last couple cautions, trying to run that inside, by the grass, just trying to save a little bit, and it paid off.
I'm going through the results here actually too, Andrew, for you. And yeah, so I think the last race you had with us was I think in 2022.
It's been a long time.
Talladega June of 22. Well, I'll get it right eventually. However, I'll say Matt Wagner's not here, so I'm going to pull up Matt Wagner. We love first-time winners, and sir, this was your first Area 51 win here over in the league. So first off, congrats on that as well. And yeah, obviously we were talking about the fuel strategy and everything like that. And so for you getting back over here, were some of maybe some teammates there, were they trying to recruit you to maybe help them out? Like, hey, you want to be a pusher for me for the playoffs?
I would have helped anybody. I'm not, like I said, I'm not in the playoffs. Even with the win, it doesn't help me. So I wasn't going to throw no blocks on anybody. If somebody would have passed me, I would have just pushed and been happy with second, third, just finishing, having a ball. I've always liked this league. It's always been a fun league to race. So it's nice to be back, and I'm happy. I wasn't planning on winning tonight. I was just planning on coming out and having fun and pushing people around. But I got Pete helped me out there in the end, and it was nice. Good to win again. It's been a while.
Yeah, it seemed like you were, staying up there quite a bit. We saw, I know we mentioned you and Kevin Lee, obviously coming back after a little bit of a hiatus, and excited to see, some of those guys, you guys up there mixing it up, and even in the midst of the playoff battle, obviously we kind of talked about it on the broadcast, but it seemed like, obviously you guys still had something to prove as far as trying to win a race and still trying to compete there. So I assume, and obviously with running by yourself, I assume all night long you're probably just trying to put yourself in the best position, and had a little bit of help from Peter there, as you mentioned. But it seemed like you were trying to be up there and win it. All the other playoff and all the other implications aside for some of the other drivers.
I didn't want to qualify. I didn't qualify. I wanted to start. I think I started last or second to last. I think it was like 27th. I didn't want to get up there because I hadn't raced with some of these guys in a while. I just wanted to feel it out and see. And then next thing I knew, I was up front. So I just figured, you know what? Hell, I'm going to stay up here. And I don't have to worry about fighting through that to get back up here. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of mixing it up with everybody. A couple like Vincente and all of them were up there. So it was a lot of fun. A lot of guys. I run with them guys in a lot of the leagues. So it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. A good league, well, and I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, to say, rolling up and getting a win right off the bat, I don't think it'll be too long for you to find a group of guys to work with. I think your phone will be ringing pretty soon, man. So
yeah, whatever. Like I said, I'll work with anybody. I don't care. I don't. I know guys get aggravated, and now I'll just work with anybody. Have a good time.
And I think I like that mindset. That's what I like to do too. Even if the race doesn't go well, goals to go and have fun and have fun with it, man. And
league racing is all about fun. Officials suck, but league racing, man, it's just about having fun. There's no I rating, no safety rating, nothing. Just go out and have a good time, and that's what I did tonight. And I want to thank everybody, Kevin and all them that run the league. I'm not quite sure who runs it. I know Kevin's running it, but there's a couple of the guys. So I apologize because I don't know anybody's names who's running it. But thank everybody for putting on a good show.
So he hasn't won in a while, Boomer. He already knows the thanks and shout outs before we even get to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you have anybody else that you want to thank, man, floor is yours. Yeah,
just the guys that run the league. That, like I said, I know Kevin does. I'm not quite sure, and because since I've been here the last time, it's been changed up. So, but thank you to everybody who runs it. Thanks everybody. Thanks Pete for pushing me. There's a couple of guys who were pushing me, but man, when you're up front, you're not really paying attention, but anything in front of you. So I'm not quite sure who the other guys were, but thank you to everybody.
Great job tonight, Andrew. Go enjoy this, man. Look forward to seeing more of you the rest of the way.
All right, guys. Great show. Thank you.
All right, Boomer. Our race winner there, Andrew Schroeder. Like I said, he's like, yeah, I haven't won in a while. I don't know. He seemed pretty well versed on the drill there, but I know you were doing some legwork while we were chatting to pull up those points that Peter was mentioning as well. So figure probably perfect time to cue that one up, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll pull it out. Excuse, a little bit of a crude pick, but we got it there, and you see the 12-car field in the playoffs there. Obviously, Dude Conrad has got the point lead coming into next week, so first race of the playoffs done. So 1,032 points for him. Vicente just 2 points back. Jim Brooks obviously finishing just behind Vicente. He's going to be another 3 points back. Bud Steele is 4 off the lead. Rick Sanchez is 5, and that's where you see a lot of those guys were finishing in the back half of the top 10 and just outside the top 10 for William Bogart. So Jason's going to be just 6 points out. Ryan Decker is 8 points out, and from there really it's anybody's game. Even Patrick Groover and Seth Groover, a good recovery from them. They're only 11 and 13 back. We saw I know Kevin mentioned it. He obviously, thanks to him for putting in the points so freaking quick. That was awesome. But he mentioned Eric Laurie, only 15 points back. Obviously, that's it's a tough hole to climb out when you're that far back there for him. But realistically, it's not unreasonable to consider that he could be still in the mix with pretty much no mistakes that he can make from the rest of the way out. And obviously, Corey Buskirk, well beyond his control. Just not the night that he was hoping to have, and really nothing to blame. really can't blame anything on them other than just sometimes, like I said, the racing gods just it's not your night and it doesn't go well. But bummer for him. But 22 points out, still a good season to be proud of, and still a few more races left to try and get a race win and improve on what has been a really good season for him. And then obviously Brandon Briggs unable to make it out tonight, so hope to see him back soon enough. And yeah, a little bit of a crude playoff graphic, but we'll try to have those for you every week and get those updates of the points and see how all that goes as we try to wrap this one up here in just a few minutes. But probably need to take a look at the schedule here.
Yeah, but I was just looking at that right now myself, Boomer. And the thing is, I say, if we keep the car counts, the truck counts up where they were, I'm not going to count out the guys that had the tough nights tonight because, again, I mean, there's 28 trucks here tonight, so a lot can happen. And you want to track that a lot can happen at it's next week at iRacing Superspeedway. I mean, that's 230, 240 plus mile an hour. And then after that, we go to Atlanta, same thing, 1.5 mile track. That's also very narrow. Probably one of the toughest ones just based on kind of how tight in everybody is on each other, and then finishing up at Daytona, kind of the more bread and butter, if you will, of the league. So honestly, to me, yeah, these next two are going to be ones that can really, really change someone's playoff fate, if you will, just because of how differently they are to the Daytonas and Talladegas of the Super Speedway series.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen quite a few chaotic, but we've also seen some quiet races at iRacing Superspeedway in Atlanta. But it's definitely been more on the chaos side as of late. So looking forward to seeing how that action plays out. But we're going to be there the next 3 weeks in a row. So August 4th, 11th, and 18th. Those are on the schedule, so tune in for the next 3 weeks to watch us decide a champion here on Thursday night. And I know, Sunday night. I know Thursday night was on my mind. They're ramping up for their playoff as well. We pushed the season back by a week, but they'll have their first race at Talladega for the playoffs this week, followed by iRacing Superspeedway Atlanta and Daytona. Same schedule, same 4 weeks for them, so 4 weeks in a row. So obviously this will be the first of the week, or the early part of the week for Sunday here. Later on Thursday, we'll finish up with the first round of the playoffs for the Thursday night series as well, and then that'll be another 3 more weeks after this week into the championship race there on Thursday nights. And the Tuesday IndyCar series is also, I believe they were also delayed by a week as well. So I think they'll have Gateway, Texas, Kentucky, and then Auto Club to finish out their season on Tuesday nights. So plenty of action all week long here on Green White Checker TV. And as always, it's definitely a pleasure to call the shots alongside you here, Gael.
Yeah, I appreciate you hopping in. It's like kind of short notice to run the show. Like I said, luckily weather did cooperate for me this time, but like I said, I definitely got a little gun shy there with what happened last time. So but actually it worked out really well because it's unfortunately, Matt, I hope your power is coming back as well. And like you were mentioning, hope your appointment tomorrow goes well and able to get some relief, because I can only imagine how much nerve pain does not feel good. So I appreciate you for everything, Boomer. It's a lot of fun doing these with you. Hope you're had a great vacation as well, and I say looking forward to finishing off the season here with you.
Yeah, it should be fun. I know. I'm looking forward to getting back into my regular schedule of Thursday nights, and obviously appreciate the league's patience with your busy work schedule, and again my vacation last week to push off the Tuesday and the Thursday series for broadcast. So definitely appreciate that flexibility, and apologize. We need to find a few more people to help us out in the booth up here. But no matter what, it's fun to do this with you, Gael, and always a blast. So. So for myself, Boomer Logan, and for my good buddy Gael Brooks, I think we'll call it a night, and wish you all the best. Hope you have a great week, and take care until next time.